Hey, bud.
Hey, buddy. You're just dressed up to make me feel good.
I heard a ha 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 ha. AD, help me. So just in case you didn't notice for Father's Day, we have some women chefs in charge. When you see Miss Jackie, am I back on? I'm back on. When you see Miss Jackie, she might be hot, so maybe it's a high five, not a hug. And I'm gonna come play sous chef. When they took away my big green egg, and I moved here and they said no charcoal, so we're gonna bring the delights here to our community. Hello, Zoomies. We are waving to you for this wonderful, delicious Father's Day. You are included in our heart space. As you can tell, today will be a little different. We have our beautiful full Nelson who's gonna handle the majority, but I'm gonna start us off with a prayer. We'll do a few things and a meditation. It really is dark. Okay. So let's just open this sacred space with a deep breath in and release. Let us feel on this beautiful, truly now summer day that we are inviting in the masculine principle. And whatever that feels like to you, it's absolutely perfect. It might be strength and wisdom and storytelling, our grandfathers, the elders. It may be your own pop. What did he teach you? What advice did he give you? It might be that divine quality of holding sacred space, like our high priests, our gurus, our elder brother. So knowing that whatever is true for you is true for all of us. So let's just hold in this beautiful moment the divine, by whatever name you call it, welcoming our sky god. The beauty in the blue, the Colorado blue, I've seen nowhere else. The vast sky at night in almost purple blues with the stars twinkling. And whatever animals come to see us, sharing in the four-legged path today. And then knowing that we're going to fill your tummies up afterwards. The warmth and grace and blessings of yet again another beautiful gathering. And for all these blessings, for all the fathers here today, the grandfathers, even those of us females who carry a lot of male energy, we welcome it all. And for this, we say thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Holy of Holies. And so it is. Amen.
If you will join me in our mission statement this morning. We are affirming heart-centered community, co-creating spiritual evolution, and illuminating pathways to the divine presence.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, can you hear me? We're going to sing our congregational song, God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. Gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. One last time. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Amen.
All right. I'm Amy Kale. I am your prayer chaplain today. So if you would like prayer after service, before or during lunch, you can come see me in the meditation room. And I am going to read from our daily word. So today, I celebrate fatherhood and bless all fathers. Today, I bless my father and give thanks for the part he played in my life. I also bless those who showed me fatherly love, who taught and guided me, who led by example by demonstrating the divine attributes of strength and wisdom. The love and support I received from all the father figures of my life helped me become the person I am today. I am grateful for these special ones who saw my potential and encouraged me to reach high and pursue my dreams. I am also thankful to them for the encouragement they provided during times of disappointment and discouragement. I bless the world's fathers and pray they know the support and guidance they have so lovingly shared with me. The righteous walk in integrity. Happy are the children who follow them. Proverbs 27.
Love so big, never turning away. Those needing help are starting to fade. His laughter filled the room with such warmth and joy. His smile won the heart of every girl and boy. He picked me up, he held me close, he helped me to stand, he let me go. And Daddy's love will ever be in my heart. Longing the day I will see him again, arms open wide like a long lost friend. Dreaming of that day when we will never part. Why did he leave? It's time to go. My heart still beats, the tears still flow. I miss my dad, my teacher, my chief. Such a young man with so much to achieve. He picked me up, he held me close, he held me to stand, he let me go. Daddy's love will ever be in my heart. Longing the day I will see him again, arms open wide like a long lost friend. And dreaming of that day when we will never part. He picked me up, he held me close, he helped me to stand, he let me go. Daddy's love will ever be in my heart. Longing the day I will see him again, arms open wide like a long lost friend. Dreaming of that day when we will never part. longing the day I will see him again, arms open wide like a long lost friend, dreaming of that day when we will never part.
Are you laughing? Thank you. I know that was an original. And when she shared with me some songs, I said, do that. So we are celebrating many things in our community, and I'm going to ask one of our board members, Afra, to come up and share some delightful news. If you'll give her a nice warm welcome.
Good morning, Unity. Happy Father's Day. I am Ofra Caraballo, and I come to you as a community member, as a board member, and just fellowship and gratitude. If you have noticed, there's a beautiful parking lot outside, yes? Thank you. That's just evidence of our abundance and our circulation. And you've probably heard rumors about fix the roof, patch the roof, replace the roof, the roof, the roof, the roof. It's not on fire, haha. But it does need your love and support. And the board has diligently searched and found the perfect team to replace our roof. And now we ask for you to expand in your awareness and your capacity to share and contribute to our new roof. So when you give today, in addition to your regular giving, if you would stretch that this week and maybe over the next few weeks to help us pay for that, because we got to take care of our home, right? We take care of the things that take care of us. So with great appreciation ahead of time, thank you for your consideration and your donation. And on behalf of your future self, when you file taxes next year, you get to write that off. So thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Afra. I want us to get to know our board members a little bit. We have some new people in our community, and I want you to know they represent all of our interests. So if you have something on your heart, a care, a concern, a congratulations, come find our board members. Tell us what we're doing really well, and if we're not, sign up to fix it. So with this joy in our hearts, I'm going to invite you to take this time as we prepare for our meditation. I'm going to invite you to close those outer eyes. Take a breath in. Let's do it again. A breath in. In one tradition, they've said, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Here we talk about divine mind, us as the expression of that mind, and the manifestation, that all that we create. So one more breath in and out. There we are, centered, focused, joyous, knowing that as we gather today and all those beautiful lights that watch us on our Zoom and later during the week, we just warmly embrace them. We warmly embrace each other, that we are all here guiding one another. Some of us have special talents, our voice, understanding how things work well together, community building. All of these properties strengthen us as a community. And when we're a little lost or confused, we are invited back to source. That one place in the universe where we believe the kingdom of heaven resides. And that's within. That's within. So I'm allowing this moment to rejuvenate our spirits, to offer us hope. And if you're watching it all, the world is coming together on our ground in beautiful Scottish bagpipes, in dancing, in places we've never even heard of. They're trying our hot dogs. They're trying our hamburgers. They're sitting down across the table and sharing laughter and food and joy. That's the America I want. That's the America I envision as we, the world, come together, spirit to spirit, light to light. So I invite you now in these next few moments to really take that in, what we can create, what we have the ability to create, the capacity to expand under the beautiful great one we might call union. So let's just take a moment in the silence. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you for the connections. Thank you for our unity community now. As you gently come back into this room, imagine what we can create as individuals and as a collective consciousness. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And each of us have a definition of what that means. Love, light, unchanging, always supporting. So whatever it means to you, let this be your guiding star. Let this be the moment when you know beyond a doubt that everything is going to be okay. Because we're here for one another. We are co-creating in this community and outside of it this beautiful time that we celebrate today with joy and laughter and fun and playfulness, and the stories of 3 of our members honoring that place of fatherhood. And for this, we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Sorry about that. I'm going to share a song from Harold Payne wrote. It's called Optimism is Contagious. It's a great song. Optimism is contagious. Say it loud and sing it strong. Optimism is contagious. Pick it up and pass it on. Hope is a place where One smiling face can make a difference. Positive messages dance past the edges of doubt. It's a ripple, it's a rhythm, it's a movement, it's a beating of drums. Oh, and you can't help but move to the music when it comes. Optimism is contagious. Say it loud and sing it strong. Optimism is contagious. Pick it up and pass it on. Rocks can be smoothed, tides can be moved by the moon. Armies disarmed, snakes simply charmed by a tune. Well, it's a candle, it's a beacon, it's a comet, it's a constellation. Oh, so let yourself go and bask in the glow of the illumination. Sing it with me. Optimism is contagious. Say it loud and sing it strong. Optimism is contagious. Pick it up and pass it on. Pick it up and pass it on. Oh, simply defined, it's a state of mind. Do you want to stand in the dark? Do you want to shine? Optimism is contagious. Say it loud and sing it strong. Loud and sing it strong. Optimism is contagious. Pick it up and pass it on. Pick it up and pass it on. You're getting it. Optimism is contagious. Say it loud and sing it strong. Optimism is contagious. Pick it up and pass it on. Do it again. Optimism is contagious. Say it loud and sing it strong. Optimism is contagious. Pick it up and pass it on. 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 Woo! Thank you for joining me.
Good morning, Unity. The full Nelson is back for round 3. Look at all you beautiful, passionate, fully committed Unitics out there. Give yourselves a hand for coming out today. And wave to our Zoomies out there, sharing this experience and consciousness with us. Man, we are flying through this series, right? Week 1, we established that God is absolute good, everywhere present. The infinite ocean, as we described. Week 2, we looked inside our dented Amazon boxes and found that divine spark, the I am. But today, we hit principle number 3. And this is where the rubber meets the road, huh? Principle 3 is the engine room of metaphysics. It also simplifies down to 3 words. I think it. Or, as it states in Davenport's book on the 5 principles, human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Literally, look around the room as quickly as you can. Look around, look around, look around, look around. Now close your eyes. Close your eyes, I'm looking at you. Now, I ask you, how many things did you see, whether on you or around you, that did not originate first as a thought? Open your eyes. Everything begins in thought. Now, when you say that out loud in a nice, peaceful spiritual center, everyone nods and smiles. Oh, yes, Nelson. Mind management is key. Just manifest the abundance, visualize the parking spot, align your chakras, and the universe will deliver your destiny on a silver platter. That sounds amazing until you realize what your brain actually thinks about all day long. Let's get real. If thoughts instantly created your reality, we would all be in federal custody. Because if the universe materialized every random, chaotic, intrusive thought that I had between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m., my living room would actually be filled with 300 street tacos, a mountain of unpaid parking tickets, and a grizzly bear in a tuxedo, because that's how silly my mind gets. We like to think that we are the CEOs of our mind. But the human brain is less like a temple of peace and more like a crowded sports bar where everyone is drunk screaming at the TV. And you can't just turn the TV off. Our thoughts don't just create reality when we're sitting here in the sanctuary kicking it with the holy vibe, right? They're also creating reality when we're driving on I-25 in the middle of a Colorado blizzard. Thank God for summers. This is where our subconscious actually takes the wheel. You want to be a divine being of light, but the second a guy cuts you off without a blinker, your inner monologue switches gears. Hey, look at this guy. Look at this guy. No blinker, Brenda? I mean, he's trying to take me out. The roads are sheets of ice. We're going to spin out. My insurance premiums are going to skyrocket, and we're going to lose my car. We're going to be living in a ditch, eating pine cones in a van down by the river. We laugh, but unity tells us that our minds are constantly broadcasting a literal signal. You aren't a victim of the world. You are the co-creator of it. Jesus spoke directly to this law of mind action. He said, according to your faith that is done unto you, right? Your deep underlying belief is the blueprint. But the human ego loves to play a trick on us, right? We try to use positive thinking, like a cheap coat of spray paint over a completely rusted out engine, right? No, man, it's fine. It's totally fine. My bank account is flashing red. My check engine light's been flashing since last October, and my kitchen's literally on fire, but it's cool, man, totally cool. Positive vibes only, bro. That is not what Principle 3 is about. It's about realizing that if you don't like the movie playing in your life, you don't stop fighting with the screen, right? Get into the projection room and change the film. You are the projectionist of your life. And you know who the very first projectionists are that we encounter in this human experience? Our fathers. Today is Father's Day. And when you look at fatherhood through the lens of Principle 3, you realize that a father's greatest gift isn't the gifts that he bought you or the advice he may have given you. It's the blueprint, the mental blueprint that he holds for you. When a good father looks at his chaotic, messy, wild kid, a kid who might feel like a dented cardboard box on the outside, in his mind, that father broadcasts a signal of strength, belief, and absolute good. He projects a film of who you can become long before you can see it for yourself. And with that being said, I want to thank you all for sharing your Father's Day photos with us here in the community. And right now, I would like to welcome up 3 of our fellow friends who felt compelled and courageous enough to contribute to our service by sharing their light through their Father's Day stories. Would you please make your way to the stage? Here, River in the middle, and Mike right there in front. There you go, Mike. There you go, buddy.
What do I do with this?
Yeah, you want to be over here, or you want to sit right there? I sit
Oh,
over here.
I'll sit over
Yeah,
there.
right here, bud.
Hey, dude, who wrote that script for you, man? Who wrote that? I'm serious.
Let's go.
I mean, that is too heavy for SpongeBob this morning. Talking about the nature of experience. Before you start your clock, I wanted to say, if you were dressed up like that and came to the front door to ask my daughter to prom, I'd say, yes, man, yes, I'm ready. Okay, and if we get a minute at the end of this, don't start my clock yet, someone asked me, why SpongeBob on Father's Day? And with that, go ahead, you can start the clock. Bing.
Got you.
Okay, my dad, Milan was his name. He was born of immigrant parents and raised on a farm in rural Pennsylvania. He was a simple man who did some remarkable things in his lifetime. Milan was a Marine, and he knew the 4 virtues. As a child, I knew that he was a hard-working truck driver. He was an extrovert with an amazing and enviable set of social skills that explained the many friends that he gathered over his lifetime. I learned or inherited this quality more than any of my other siblings. When in my early teens, I asked him how he could always be so happy while doing such hard work. It blew me away that he could do this. He said happiness was a choice, a state of being, and that 90% of life is attitude. Whew. Hard to imagine that as a teenager. When he was not working, he was always out and about, playing with us or pottering around the house. When with us, we had his full attention. He showed me how to use tools and work with wood, building this or carving that. One of my teens, I was big and strong for my age. I remember once going out with him to help a friend on a weekend building project to build an addition to his house. I looked forward to this time together. I encouraged Dad to read. As I went away to college, I remember bringing him books by Krishnamurti, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, and other Eastern writers. Remember, I went to college during the time of the Maharaji. I saw him reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Wow! I was so impressed that he did this on his own. We would sit out in the shade and talk about these books and many of the great mystery of life for hours at a time. And over the years, we truly learned from each other. Our wisdom grew with the years. Of the 4 Stoic virtues, fairness or justice was his strongest. Treat all with dignity and respect as if you can see the God in them. Seek out the common good. I got a post today. I get a little post from Ryan Holiday. Anybody know who Ryan Holiday is? He wrote The Obstacle is the Way, and he is bringing back Stoicism. And the post, if you look up Marcus Aurelius on Father's Day, it's an interesting read about how his father was. Anyway, let's go back to the story. When Milan retired from being a truck driver in his mid-50s, he started a handyman business. Plenty of clients. This kept him going into his 70s. He enjoyed working with his hands and did quite a few small projects for seniors pro bono. He was always happy and easygoing. We moved to Colorado in 1994. Dad would usually come out to visit for a few weeks each summer. Our children were always happy to see Grandpa. In 2002, I invited Milan and my father-in-law Frank out to stay with us in Monument one summer. Frank was a man that I truly loved. In fact, he's part of the reason I married my wife of 49 years. We had gone on a surprise fishing trip to Alaska, and this was the first of several fishing trips to Alaska. Both of them were kind, extroverted, generous men. Either of them were welcome to come and stay at any time for however long they wanted to in our home. As you can imagine, my dad was a delightful man to be around and provided an excellent role model for me to grow up around. He truly is one of my heroes. I started the eulogy at his funeral and then asked others to come up and say a few words. The chapel was overflowing with people we had seen over the years. They told stories I had never heard about. They talked about how he had been a valued friend and mentor and how he had touched their lives. The goodness that I heard from others went on for a while. Mylon was a kind, humble, genuine human being who I was blessed to have in my life. I think about him often and miss him dearly. And I want to ask, how many of you had a father that was present and a good influence and role model for you in your life? Please raise your hand if you did. And I am happy to see that there are about 20 or 25 people that I'm so happy for all of you to have had that. Okay, and we'll talk about SpongeBob later when I'm ready.
Right on.
River.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you.
Woo-hoo.
Okay. All right. My father, Frederick Charles Eyre III. He went to the Jesuit School for Boys in Denver and married in 1950 my mother, and his best man was Bishop Richard Hannafin, who had the diocese here in Colorado Springs for many years. When I was 4 and he was 25, he was asked to come to the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. and write software. That was 1957. So we moved to Falls Church, Virginia. And a few years later, he left us, my mom and us 6 kids. And there was like a 40-year hiatus where he wasn't in our lives much, except for we would see him at funerals and weddings, but he wasn't real approachable. What was he doing? Well, he was building his legacy. He was building his empire. He built the Sheridan on the Potomac, which was completely computerized. And this was in 1978. And Walter Cronkite interviewed him on TV. And so that's on YouTube. He also was the first American software company to start business with Japan with his software, and so since World War II, so that was like a big deal. And this is a picture of him and his company, Commerce Incorporated, out of Rockville, Maryland. And he traveled the world. I have his passport. He traveled the world. He was a very well-known software writer and entrepreneur. And I didn't see much of him. This was at my sister's wedding in the 80s. And it was hard. It was hard being one of 6 kids who didn't have a whole lot of contact with their father. This is his high school picture. But you know what? My dad had a transformation. He, at 70 years old, he died at 80, was diagnosed with congested heart failure and wasn't expected to live. And in his 70th year, he did a 180 and came back into all of our lives in a really big, big way. In 1993, we gathered in Estes Park, Maryland, and I found these T-shirts somewhere at some kind of Pikes Peak interfaith event that is love is the only way. And then love in every language in the world. And I brought some fabric paint, And we all signed T-shirts for one another. That's Dad. And this is 1993. He lived until 2012. 1993, that was 2003. He lived till 2012. And so much love, so much incredible love. We would get together, and we gave him a surprise 74th birthday party. And when I picked him up at the airport and drove him to my Black Forest home and pulled out front, and he saw his family there, he started to cry. I've never seen my father cry. But his heart was so expansive those last 10 years. But he didn't just work. He spent a lot of time in Vegas. He was a blackjack player. He spent so much money there, they always comped his rooms. He also held Redskin tickets, season tickets for 4 decades. And when I was in grade school, I made this thing out of clay. It was supposed to be a pencil holder for his desk. And I never saw it because I didn't really see him very much in 40 years. But when I went to his office in those last 10 years, there it was on his desk, this ceramic pencil holder. And in that Estes Park reunion, we all had drums and instruments and noisemakers. And it was his children and his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. And we had a drum circle. And I played my steel flute. And we just had impromptu music. And he was a violin player and a piano player. And afterwards, he said to all of us, he said, I never knew that I had such magnificent daughters. My dad, Frederick Charles Iyer III.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And River, that's awesome. So many things popped up as I was listening to you talk about your fathers. So I've decided to write a letter to my dad, Dale Allen. So I'm going to go ahead and read the letter because I never wrote him a letter, and he was very difficult to find a Father's Day card for. He was a little unique, as some people said, weird. So, dearest Daddy-O, it's Lena Dew. My name was Dana Lou, but he called me Lena Dew. I hope you're doing great. I decided to write you since I am going to share with the church stories about you for Father's Day. I could never find a card for you and your uniqueness, so this is your Father's Day card from me. You were born and raised into a family of Quakers from 10 generations. Apparently, according to family members, you were unique right from the start. You were 19 years old when you married my mom and enlisted in World War II as a conscientious objector. You wanted to be a pilot. You weren't happy when they told you you couldn't fly because your vision was poor. So your new skill became building a stick air traffic control towers. And this led to many interesting stories that you told me about World War II, including building a stick tower in Hiroshima right after the bomb. The war ended shortly after that, of course, and you chose to stay a little longer in Japan because you loved the Japanese people, the culture, and their architecture. The war also changed you. And you decided to take a break from God and religion, never to return to a meeting house with the Friends Church or a church in general. And even though God and you were not friends at the time, always kept that Quaker heart full of peace, love of nature, and people. With your artistic nature, you quickly decided to become an architect after the war and took advantage of your GI Bill. You always told me, I used to want to be an architect and now I are one. When I came along in 1957, which, by the way, was the day after Father's Day that year, you weren't quite sure how to handle a baby girl. You weren't the kind of sit in your lap kind of daddy. I wasn't around you that much. But once you realized that your inner child was activated around me is when you related to me. So we became friends. Even though you weren't comfortable with children, you knew how to create fun and laughter. And ironically, one of your favorite things was to make Christmas magical. I was 4 years old in the basement with my brother, and on Christmas Eve, more presents. I was 4 years old in the basement with my brother on Christmas Eve when I heard the doorbell ring, footsteps, and a ho, ho, ho. I ran up the stairs and found more presents under the tree, and you sitting in your chair with a cigarette in one hand and a scotch in the other, and said, "You just missed him." Later, when I was 7 years old, you invited me with you on occasion to your job sites. You would put your little finger out for me so that I could hold your finger, and then you invited me to talk to you about why the house was being built, where it was being built, and that when you ever build a house, make sure there's a foyer in every house you build because it makes the house mysterious. I was 7. Although I was a small child, I knew then, and I also know now, that these were your gestures of love for me. Sorry, just a second. So, your talent soon became very popular. In the town we lived in, you became what's called a city architect. They had city lawyers, city fathers, they called them. When I was 8 years old, you designed a house for ourselves. And we had pictures taken and an interview done, and we had the city newspaper had city architect's home carefully designed to fit wooded lot. It was very exciting. In your retirement years, you would travel all over the world in private planes and motorcycles, and when you were 70 to 82, we really grew close, and I'm so grateful for that time. You even painted me a picture just for me that says, "Dear Dana Lou," or Lena Do, "you are my flower girl. Love, Dad. Daddy-o." At 82, your mind began to stumble around, and Alzheimer's crept in, slowly at first. And then towards the end, back quickly towards the end. There were some very precious moments I have of that time that even though you didn't know who I was, you seemed to recognize me somehow. I'm sorry. There were some precious moments of that time that even though you didn't know who I was, you seemed to recognize me somehow. You asked me to dance. I helped you with your crayons so that you could design a little house under a waterfall. And finally, you asked me to marry you. And as weird as that sounds, dear Daddy-o, I was quite flattered that even in the worst part of the Alzheimer's, you still had love for me that I will never forget. I love you from the bottom of my heart, dearest Daddy-o. I will have an Oreo cookie or two for you today, as that is the only present you ever asked for. Happy Father's Day, Dale Allen, and all fathers in the world. Forever and ever, your daughter, Lena Do.
River, Dana, thank you so much. Such wonderful sentiments on this special day. I had to say that I am blessed that I get to actually have regular conversation with my father these days. I'm reminded of one where he felt compelled to make sure I truly knew where I came from, who he is to me. He said, "Son, remember, I brought you into this world. And I said, Dad, actually, Mom brought me into this world. And he came back and said, well, technically, you came to the party with me. You just left with your mother. Now, that is a testimony to the power of genetics, I tell you. I wasn't even raised with this man, but clearly I can see that the funny bone is in our DNA and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. When I think about my own father, Nelson, he's my namesake. He's the original. His son name means son of Neil or son of champion. And so it is with me. For I am that. I am. Nelson is a strong man of conviction as to his integrity and unwavering faith, though it's not until recently that we've been reunited after all these years, and though the circumstances are not ideal, I admit, I am so blessed in the timing of when and how this has shown up for me on my spiritual journey, still as a young man in this life. And what I've learned about myself through the eyes of my father is a matter of strength of character. He taught me what it means to hold a vision steady, no matter how chaotic the storm looks on the screen. He showed me that when the worldly circumstances around you start screaming panic, you don't drop to your knees and admit defeat. You go back to the source code. You change your thinking. You anchor yourself in the absolute good. And you stand your ground with unwavering courage and faith in the Most High. That is what a real father does. He teaches you how to be the master of your own mental house. He teaches you that you are a wave, yes, but you have the power of the entire ocean moving right behind you. So for those of you who know our story or care to learn more and would like to help bring justice and awareness to our cause and ultimately play a part in reuniting my father and I by signing our petition, I'd be available after the service. And we are so grateful for the support from our lovely spiritual family here. Thank you. So today, to all fathers, grandfathers, spiritual fathers, and the men holding the blueprint of love and strength for the next generation, we honor the reality that you are helping to create. Thank you, and we celebrate you. Happy Father's Day, everyone. And now I'd like to turn it over to our platform assistant for the offertory portion of our service.
Thank you, Nelson. Now, if the ushers would come forward. Thank you. And, all right. And if we hold our gifts, we hold our gift to our heart and fill it with the intentions of grace, love, and peace. Know that it goes out doing the world, blessed and multiplied, serving this community and the world to its fullest. And so it is.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well. Your father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. And you, of can't know the fears that your elders grew by. So please help them. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well. The children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams. The one they picked, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
Alicia, thank you so much. Wonderful music, wonderful. And thank you to all of our speakers this morning. How blessed we are. They are wonderful, and to share those stories of their dads so we can think of our own. Thank you. And we have some announcements. First of all, do we have any newcomers? We'd like to welcome all of our newcomers, if we have any. And raise your hand. Thank you. Hey, great. We're glad to have you. Thank you. And we would love to have you join us. You can fill in our visitor form. You can sign up for our newsletter if you'd like to. And please do join us. And today for our Father's Day barbecue with our chefs. And that's actually not today in the fellowship hall, but outside. We're going to enjoy our beautiful Colorado weather, right? Thank you. All right. We need male voices. Reverend Tracey is looking for 2 males to participate in our special July 5th service in honor of our 250th birthday. So if interested, please do see Reverend Tracey and contact the office. Next, we've got the garage sale this coming Saturday, and it is hosted by the Women's Retreat. So it's time for summer cleaning. I've been doing that. Bring in your household goods and your treasures, your decor, books, whatever you'd like to sell on Saturday, June 27th. It is from 8 to 2 in the Unity front parking lot. Oh, that beautiful parking lot. The booth spaces are $20, and the tables are $10, so if you need that, otherwise you bring your own. And then we ask each seller to donate 20% of their sales to go toward the Unity and the Women's Retreat. Our men's group will be meeting Saturday the 27th from 8:30 to 10 in Fellowship Hall. The group meets every month on the second and fourth Saturdays for coffee and fellowship. And if you'll see Don Turner for any information on that. And next Sunday, we're having platform assistant training. It is at noon here in the sanctuary with Reverend Tracey and River. So if you're a current platform assistant or interested in learning more about the team, please join us. Be glad to have you. Pardon me. All right. And then we do have the Daily Word available and other booklets back in the entryway here. The Daily Word is $10, and that we have the July-August Daily Word. That's $10. And then the other inspirational booklets, When Someone You Love Needs Healing. Also, Spiritual Keys to Overcoming Adversity. And those are $2. Then also, please remember, we can check our Unity newsletter, the bulletin boards, the online calendar, and join us on Facebook for any updates. And here's the daily word that would be out there. And then the keys to adversity. And then when someone you know needs healing. All right. Now, I'm sure we're all getting kind of hungry. However, do we have any children? Do we have any children with us today? Great, Debbie. All right.
So let's say our affirmation together.
Great. Thanks, Debbie.
So say this with me, please. We affirm that our children are drawn here in love and joy. They come with open hearts, curious and guided by spirit. Together, we create a sacred, playful space where young hearts are welcomed. And as they arrive, our community grows brighter and more alive. And so it is.
Thank you, Debbie. And now, if you will stand, if you will join me in the prayer for protection. There we are, up on our screen. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is well. And so it is.
Okay, let's sing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and give each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a blessed week.